let's start with what is stewardship to you? And then, how do you handle those situations with stewardship in mind?
Sure. I mean, I think the biggest thing for me is just kind of seeing the big picture and taking the long view. Um, the story that I have is basically when I first came to camp, um, one of the things I noticed was the fire circles had a lot of charred wood in them,
Hmm.
and the benches around the fire circles had a lot of charred wood under them.
Okay.
And the woods nearby the fire circles had a lot of charred wood in them.
Right. Hmm.
So what we started doing was just splitting the wood real small so that they get what they want. Um, when you spend the energy and the resources to go out in the woods, cut down the trees, cut up the trees, haul in the trees, and then half of the wood gets burnt, you've
Uh-huh.
got a problem.
Uh-huh.
So a little bit more splitting went a long way to reducing the amount of waste from our campfire.
Um, I think the thing that makes me the most happy is our use of volunteer groups. Um, and we get all sorts of volunteers from wood cutting groups to um, one of my favorites is we had a couple of families come and create the children's forest. And we have since had other families come and help maintain or improve upon what's already been done. I think we even had youth groups come and try to cut out barberry at times. Um, yeah, just we get to have lots of volunteers. There's all I would feel like I'm missing people if I tried to name them all. I mean, the women that come to make the curtains,
Right.
uh, a lot of soup volunteers. And one of my favorite parts, the part that makes me happy, is that we get to connect with those volunteers um, and occasionally have them into our homes and share meals with them. And some stay longer than others. Some come for like a week at a time. And yeah, we really get to know them and connect with them. And
Hmm.
I think, um, yeah, that I really like. And it's cool just seeing them come because the reason I feel like they come is because and they love Camp Deer Park and they want to support um, what goes on here.
Uh, Create a plan and then implement a plan.
Right.
And so, like Ken said, late 90s, they began to take an inventory, find out what we had in our woods, and from that, create what we call an allowable cut. It's basically the growth of the woods that we're allowed to take. To use a banking analogy, it's the interest on the money that we have. We don't take away from the principal, we just take away from the interest. Um, and so, yeah, ever since then, we have been um, harvesting trees every few years. We have the property broken into harvest zones. Our first cuts we mainly sold and kept a little bit behind. Then we got the sawmill, started keeping a lot more. Then we decided to build cabins, started keeping more. Um, and then, I mean, I think the reason the forestry team is important um, is we want to care for this place the best way we know how. Obviously, suggestions and best practices will change over time, but we're doing what what we know now to be um, a sustainable way to manage the forest.
Right.
But the rewarding part, I would say, is it's really cool to have groups come and see the process.
Yeah.
It's fun to see them get excited about it.
Yeah.
Um, it's nice to know that people like it.
Yes.
Um, and I also really like the fact that we can be outside at this time of year, going from winter when we tap the trees and it's cold and there's like this year we had, I would say maybe 1.5 feet of snow on the ground. We couldn't get to the trees.
Right.
And now the birds are saying, the ticks are coming out.
Yay.
It's spring. It's spring. So we
Right.
get to go through the 2 seasons and be outside the whole time, experiencing it. So that is rewarding.
Mhm.
I mean, for me, stewardship is it's a way to put our beliefs into practice, a way to physically manifest those beliefs. We live in a place and time where we are rich in materials,
Mhm.
and I think with that comes a bigger responsibility, and money in stewardship is not the bottom line. It's not the only factor. You got to see the big picture. You got to take the long view. You got to ask, does this make sense or is it crazy?
Mhm.
And so, just considering some of these factors and making decisions, the effects on creation, the effects on our neighbors, that's a way that we see to kind of live out what we believe.
Mhm.
We saw a guy there. His name was Brian Moyer Suderman. We bought a couple of his CDs. This one here is called My Money Talks,
Mhm.
and it has a great song. I'm just going to read the first couple lyrics. He says, "My money talks just like a voice that's praying. My money speaks volumes loud and clear about what matters most to me. So tell me what you hear."